Hmm. Complex versus complicated, that is a hard one. Um,
Yeah.
I would struggle to tell you why. Like, for me, complex reads better than complicated here. Maybe because complicated, um, maybe because complicated feels like it's a negative. It's, um, it feels like it's about intricacy. That is lots of different parts. Um, uh, Difficulty. It's difficult. Is I guess if something's complicated, it means it's difficult. If it's complex, it's got lots of different components or parts, but it doesn't necessarily mean difficult. So it's a better word for behavior because behavior, like, it's only difficult in the eye of the observer. It's not difficult in itself for the creature behaving. Sophisticated um, implies a high level of development. So yes, it means that it's got lots of different elements, but it's at a higher level of. So if it's sophisticated, it's it's able to register lots of distinct things. If it's a sensory capacity, then you're able to sense lots of distinct things. Um, so sophisticated is a little bit different to complex or complicated, um, but it's obviously related because it can also mean very complex or complicated. Um, yeah, you could. I feel like you really could. Um, I think
It is correct or not?
I think the difference is that sophistication implies refinement. It implies development. Whereas complexity or complication don't need to imply those things.
So why do we need refinement here?
Because it's about sensory capacity. So the ability to sense things, that's something that organisms, more simple organisms, don't possess. Whereas octopuses, I think they're saying that they have more refined or developed sensory capacities.
Uh,
Yeah, advanced through a process. So I think we're thinking about an evolutionary process here.
okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
So it's just that sophisticated has a slightly different connotation, but you're right, in ordinary use, complicated or complex would probably be fine.
So here, sophisticated, as you mentioned, means somehow advanced or refined one.
Yeah. And so on that early first question, because you were asking about they nurse and protect injured body parts and show a preference not to be touched near wounds. So that relates to the sentence immediately before. Octopuses almost certainly feel pain. So it's about that sentence. They feel pain. That is, they protect their injured body parts, so they must feel pain. They get a signal that says that they're injured. And they show a preference not to be touched near wounds. Um, and then we move on from that. In addition to feeling pain, they also have sophisticated sensory capacities. We have examples of that: excellent eyesight and acute sensitivity.
Adam, when
Okay, the question of what subjective experience might be like for an octopus is, so it's a question. This is about a question. The question that presumably we are asking, or that scientists might be asking, is something, um, and in this case, is complicated by, that is, the question is made more difficult by the odd relationship between its brain and body. So it's kind of implying that we want to answer a question, but that question is hard because octopuses, their bodies and their brains don't interact in the same way as other creatures. It's an odd relationship. So it is made what? The question is made what? Because this
Oh,
is yeah,
I
yeah,
got it. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
talking about the questions.
it's talking about the question of, and it's a question of something, the question of what subjective experience might be like for an octopus. So it's a prepositional, um, it's an embedded clause. So the question is complicated by the relationship.
Mm,
The question of what? The question of what subjective experience might be like for an octopus.
it's
But so
complicated.
yeah, so it's an embedded clause, that second part of the sentence, and then the main verb is or is complicated.
Yeah. So,
That's right. It's making it um both many parts and difficult.
mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
So again, complication implies difficulty.
Yeah.
So it's not just a complex question, it's a difficult one.